When I Left My Fears Behind. Learn English Story. Level 1. Graded Reader. This is a story about a young woman who learns to overcome her fears and live life to the fullest. If you're a beginner at learning English, then this is the perfect story for you. The words in this story have been carefully chosen so that you can easily understand what is happening. You will also learn some new words and expressions. After reading this story, you can download the MP3 audio file to listen to the story. At the same time, you can read along and practice your pronunciation. At the end of the story, there is a comprehension check. Can you answer these questions about the story? This will help you check your understanding. Let's get started. The sun was shining brightly in the sky. It was another beautiful day in Miami. The warm wind blew through Jessica's hair. She closed her eyes and smiled. This was her favorite place in the whole world. This little beach was far from the busy city center. There were few people here. Jessica liked to come to this beach when she was sad or afraid. The sound of the waves always calmed her down. And today, Jessica was feeling a little bit afraid. Jessica was 24 years old. She lived with her parents. Ever since she was a child, Jessica had been afraid of many things. She was afraid of dogs, the dark, and even the wind. Of course, this wasn't normal. Many children had fears, but they usually stopped being afraid when they grew up. But Jessica's fears did not go away. In fact, her fears got worse. For example, Jessica was afraid of going to the supermarket alone. She didn't want to be away from her parents for too long. Also, she didn't want to walk near the road. Cars made her nervous. That's why Jessica almost never left her house. She was afraid of everything. One day, Jessica's mother went to visit her friend. Jessica wanted to stay home alone for a bit. But then she had an idea. Her mother would be gone for 2 hours. And maybe during this time, she could go to the supermarket. This way, she wouldn't be home alone. But when she was getting ready to go, her father said, "You're not going anywhere." Jessica was very surprised. Her father always said that it was a good thing to go outside and that she shouldn't spend all her time inside. So why was he stopping her now? She asked. Why not? Her father sighed. He knew why Jessica wanted to go out, and he knew that she was afraid. He said, "I'll drive you to the supermarket and back, but next time, you need to go alone." Jessica was very happy. Maybe one day she would be brave enough to go to the supermarket alone. But today, she was just happy to leave the house. On the way to the supermarket, Jessica and her father talked about many things. They talked about the weather, the new restaurant downtown, and even Jessica's plans for the future. Usually Jessica felt very nervous in the car, but today she was calm. When they arrived at the supermarket, Jessica's father parked the car close to the entrance. He said, "Wait for me here. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere." Jessica promised that she would stay in the car, but while her father was shopping, she decided to go inside. She walked slowly through the automatic doors and took a deep breath. The bright lights made her a little nervous, but she tried to relax. As soon as she entered the supermarket, Jessica saw a big dog. It was a friendly dog, but it was very big. She couldn't help but scream. A little girl dropped her ice cream. Jessica felt bad because she scared the little girl. She wanted to say something to make her feel better, but she couldn't talk. She was afraid to speak. Then she had an idea. Jessica took her phone out of her pocket and took a picture of herself making funny faces. Then she sent the picture to the little girl. The little girl was very happy. She understood that Jessica wanted to apologize. Jessica felt much better now. She was very proud of herself. She managed to make the little girl smile. Jessica spent half an hour in the supermarket. She found everything on her list, and even more. She was very happy. She enjoyed walking between the shelves and looking at all the products. No one bothered her, and no one said a word. Jessica loved the quiet. When she was done, she put all the products in her bag and walked towards the checkout. There were only 2 lines, so she chose the shorter one. Jessica waited patiently until it was her turn. The cashier greeted her and said, "How are you?" Jessica smiled and replied, "I'm fine, thank you." The cashier looked at her for a moment and said, "Do you work here? You seem to be very comfortable." Jessica laughed. She realized that she was smiling and moving freely. She told the cashier, "No, I don't work here. I'm just a customer." The cashier nodded. "Oh, okay. I thought you worked here because you look very relaxed." Jessica blushed. She didn't know what to say. She had never heard anyone say that she looked relaxed before. After paying for her products, Jessica left the supermarket. She walked slowly towards her car. It was a beautiful day, and she was very happy. On the way back home, her father asked her, "Did you go to the supermarket?" Jessica said, "Yes, I did. It was easy." Her father smiled. Jessica rarely went anywhere alone. He knew that his daughter was very smart, but he also knew that she was afraid of many things. But today, Jessica surprised him. When they arrived home, Jessica's mother asked, "How was the supermarket?" Jessica said, "It was great." Then she told them about the dog, the little girl, and the cashier. Her parents listened to her and smiled. They were very happy for their daughter. Jessica's mother said, "We're very proud of you." From that day on, Jessica started to do more things. She walked in the park, visited friends, and even traveled to other cities. Every time she did something new, she became braver. 1 year later, Jessica went to the supermarket alone. She needed to buy some things for dinner. She put on her favorite dress and went out. When she left the house, she felt a little nervous, but she was also very excited. Jessica walked calmly to the supermarket. She passed by many cars, but they didn't bother her. She even crossed the street without any problems. When she entered the supermarket, Jessica was very surprised. Everything looked different. All the shelves were full of new products. But Jessica didn't care. Today, she was only focused on buying her food. She walked between the shelves and picked up the products. As she was walking, she saw a group of kids playing. She stopped and watched them for a few seconds. These kids were like her, but they weren't afraid. They were living their lives happily. Jessica smiled. She understood that she had wasted too much time being afraid. She should have started doing things long ago. After picking up all the products, Jessica went to the checkout. She put her things on the conveyor belt and waited for the cashier to scan the products. The cashier was a kind woman. She looked at Jessica and said, "You're all grown up. Last year you were with your father. Now you're here all alone." Jessica blushed and said, "Yes, I'm all grown up." The cashier smiled and said, "You were very brave to come to the supermarket alone. Not everyone can do that." Jessica said, "I wasn't brave. I was just taking my things and leaving." The cashier shook her head and said, "No, you were very brave. You overcame your fears and came here." Jessica smiled. She understood that she was indeed braver than last year, but she also knew that she still had a lot to learn. And that's the end of our story today. Can you answer these questions about the story? Question 1. Why did Jessica want to go to the supermarket? Answer. She wanted to get some things for her mom. Question 2. What did Jessica do when she saw the little girl crying? Answer. She took a picture of herself making funny faces and sent it to the little girl. Question 3. How did Jessica feel when she was in the supermarket? Answer. She was calm and relaxed. Question 4. What did Jessica learn? Answer. She learned that she was braver than she thought. She learned that she shouldn't waste her time being afraid. If you enjoyed this story, please share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. See you next time.